All right, and welcome to another production of Sideline Sports Network. Cubfidential is here, and we are now in the second half of the season. I guess I'm QB2 tonight. I'm producing and hosting the show. This is Denzel Snipes. Of course, you can catch me on Denzel Sniper 13 on Twitch, Denzel Snipes 13 on YouTube, as well as on Facebook as Denzel Snipes. Also follow us and the good fellas at Sideline Sports Network on Facebook as well. We have a welcoming Facebook page with plenty of information and stats and discussions, you name it. Tune into our shows every single week. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. So, of course, hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. So, it's post All-Star break. Um, the Cubs knocked out one series, and they're now in the middle of another. So we're here to talk about that and a few other things. Let's go ahead and bring in our guys. We're going to roundtable it tonight. Something a little different. Jason, come on in the building. And Hot Watkins in the house. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
What's
All
good?
right.
Are you guys ready for a dumpster fire to end? Because I am.
Yeah.
See, he's okay, and I'll let you launch on this here in just a little bit. I know about a week or two ago we had this banner up, but we went on and found him. So thank you all for calling in and locating this dude. Apparently, he went on vacation to Michigan. Didn't invite any of us.
It was a work. Hey, it was a work. I was scoping for bats because I was looking for bats. I watched the Tigers and Dodgers play in Detroit. I was trying to recruit some guys. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I mean, shoot, you could have had a Alpha and a Bravo with you, man. We could have came up there and came up there and brought something back. At least would have scored a run last night. But we'll get to that, here in just a second. So we're gonna go ahead to our first topic here. Cubs Diamondback series. Cubs dropped 2-3 to the reigning National League champions, but they avoided sweep with a bases loaded walk-in winning run in the 10th and 2-1 in Game 3. I'm going to start off with Watkins. Your thoughts on the Cubs D-back series?
I mean, we're lucky we got the one right. Like we can't score. This lineup can't score. The first game it's 5-2. Okay, you're probably not going to win that game anyway. Scoring 5 runs, but then you go 3-0. Game 2, you get shut out. And then, the next game you win 2-1. Like that's, you know what I mean? And you just mentioned it's a walk-off walk. So this lineup, usually I'm complaining about the bullpen. But I had a stat here. The bullpen's actually been pretty good this month. It's a little too late for this bullpen, but the lineup is just atrocious. We're 28th with runners in scoring position, if that tells you how good we are. So they just can't hit. I mean, and Cody Bellinger's been due back, but where's he at? Maybe they're just like, hey, we're not going to play until we trade you type thing. I don't know. Man. So real quick on the bullpen, since 7-4, since the 4th of July, 51 innings pitched, only a $1.22 ERA, 101 WHIP, 24 K percentage, 7.4 base on balls, only 2 home runs allowed. Bullpen's finally got it together, but it's a little too late. Now the lineup's just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's seemingly like this or that, and seemingly that was the problem last year, if you recall, because it was like when the offense was up, the pitching was down, and the pitching comes back up, still gets a couple of wins, and then the offense just kind of disappears. But we're passing to Jason. Jason, your thoughts on this series?
Yeah, it can't be all put together at once, like Bakken said, and you said, it's either, it's the starting pitching has been great and the bullpen's been great, but the offense is just not showing up. They scored 3 runs in that series, and that's just not going to win a series. Coming off the All-Star break, I think they're second in runs scored with 9, and ahead of them is the White Sox, with 8, or least amount of runs scored off the All-Star break. So that's just not going to win it very many games.
Yeah, especially whenever the pitching seemingly has come together.
I mean, listen to this, Denzel. The starters alone, the three starters, the three main guys, Amaga, Talon, and Steele. So Amaga's gone 8-2 with a 2.86 ERA in 18 games started.
Right.
Talon 17 games started, 7-5, 2.96 ERA with a WHIP of 1.15. Steele 15 games started, he's 2-4 with the ERA just at 3 and a WHIP of 1.002. If you the beginning of the year, I would have said at the All-Star break, these three guys are going to have this. You would have said we're in first place and with one of the best teams in baseball. Instead, we're not.
Yeah. And who would have thought? Because it's essentially turning into and we're gonna get to the Cub Dud here in just a bit. But you would think there's a three-headed monster brewing, but it's like when the starters are here, the bullpen's here. Now the bullpen's doing this, starters are staying here. Offense is nowhere to be found. Speaking of which, and I want to hear your take on it. Well, from the both of you, really, but especially from Botkins. Our next topic. Just last night, the Cubs fall to the Brewers 1-0. And mind you, Tylon was on the mound. He left the mound at 0-0. The loss was credited to Tylon because I believe he left the mound with a runner on second. So the runner got driven in, got credited to him. But even still, it begs asking, who was to blame? The Cubs bullpen, who didn't allow a run, or the missing Cubs offense? Jason, starting with you.
Cubs offense. I mean, they stink. Runners in scoring position, they were 0 for 5, and they left 10 men on base. You can't win games like that. It's impossible. They just stink. They're not productive. They're anemic. It's horrible.
Yeah, and Botkins, on you. What do you think?
First of all, Denzel, I love you, man, but this is an awful question. I mean, come on, man. Like you got to score a run to win a game. You know what I mean? Like you got to score a run, at least one run to win a game, and then hope it goes. The other team scores 0. You literally allowed just one run. Italian pitched his butt off last night, and maybe what could be possibly is one of his last starts as a Cub. But he's on. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens with him. But man, you got to score at least one run, a run to win a game. We scored 0. So I think who the answer is there. It's this offense. I don't know what it is. Miguel Amaya's finally getting a little bit better, like hitting wise. He's kind of come on late, but just runners in scoring position. I mean, 10 guys left on base, as Jason said. Like you can't have that.
That's awful. That's awful. Leaving too many runners in scoring position ain't gonna win you a lot of games. So absolutely, and I know that there's been criticism toward the bullpen. It got addressed in the beginning that it's starting to come together, but then next thing you know, the offense is nowhere to be found. You got the division leading Brewers, in your house and your opportunity after winning the first game, mind you, and we'll tend to that series on the next episode. And I know they got the opportunity to still win the series now, but I mean,
no, they lost today.
Yeah.
So series,
they did. Oh, okay. So series is done then.
Yeah, they lost 3-2.
Yeah, another one-run game. I mean, how many times have we lost? I don't know what the stat is, but I guarantee you we've lost probably 20 one-run games this year.
Yeah, I saw one of the stats. I think it was one of y'all had brought up that the Cubs record at one point would be 49-19 if games were 7 innings.
Yeah.
But there's one small, I guess, bright spot as far as a Cubs offense goes, and that's this Cubs for you. Seiya Suzuki actually had the game-tying RBI single in the bottom of the 9th versus Arizona just a few nights ago. Jason, your thoughts on this lone silver lining around this dark cloud that is the Cubs offense?
Yeah, once again, runners in scoring position, 2 for 7. They left on base eight guys. So, like you said, they're not going to score many runs if they keep on doing this, And to be honest with you, I was kind of upset because Imanaga was pitching a hell of a game. I think he had a no-hitter going into the 6th. And I was just like, man, give this guy some run support, like anything, So, I mean, it's just, and like I said, going into the 10th, Nico walks it off with a walk. So Suzuki, I don't know, man, like 50-50 on him, man. He makes some some great plays. He makes some stupid plays, and he can hit, So it's just a good or evil of it, What do you take from him? So, but I think he's
Yeah.
a great ball player.
So
Yeah,
a month ago, this was last month, the Cubs had 17 one-run losses. So I'd say we're probably up to 20 now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But your thoughts on Suzuki's clutch performance in that game
Yeah, I
and him
mean,
overall?
today he hit 2 home runs. He's 2 solo home runs. The only reason we put it on the board today, because he hit 2 solo blasts today too. So he's hot. Like when he's hot. But he's not the greatest fielder, as Jason said. Like he's suspect in the field. I wouldn't, if we trade Cody, or I would move him to right field, to DH Suzuki and not have him play right field. If PCA needs to be out in the outfield every day, and please just let him run around and make great catches. But Suzuki's, I mean, he's good with the bat. He's a good, solid, 5'6" guy, I feel like, but he's just not. I don't feel, not a guy like a superstar, maybe like we thought he was going to be, or they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to move on to our outside of Wrigley news. Former manager Jim Leland inducted into the 2024 MLB Hall of Fame alongside Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Todd Helton. Jim Leland won the 1997 World Series with the Marlins. Jason, your thoughts on these inductees?
Yeah, Jim Leland definitely deserves to be into a Hall of Fame, man. For all he's done for baseball. Joe Mauer. I grew up watching him as a catcher, and then when he got a little bit older, he moved to first base. But yeah, he was one of the best catchers in the day. And Adrian Beltre at third base, great guy, productive. So yeah.
Yeah, and Adrian Beltre, you're talking about teams that were bidding for him when he was 16 years old. He was that good, But Bakken, your thoughts on these inductees?
Yeah, I mean, Jim Leland's been around a long time, took the Marlins. I think he won the World Series with the Marlins. I think he took the Tigers in 06 as their manager as well. But Adrian Beltre, he might have been one of the most underrated baseball players, his generation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would think of guys like he played kind of at the end of the Griffey era into the Bonds era, like that kind of era. Like he was with all those guys and just put up great numbers, but playing down in Texas as well, didn't, win a whole lot. So it wasn't ever on the national side, especially, in the playoffs, a couple of years of those 06, 07 teams, he was there, but man, he could rake. He was one of the better hitters in all of baseball. Joe Mauer, like Jason said, one of the best catchers of his time. And Todd Helton was just, he wasn't a guy that was going to hit a lot of home runs, was kind of probably got some numbers in Colorado, but he was just a good average guy, a guy that could close. If there was a guy that you're like, hey man, there's a guy that could probably hit close to 400 this year, it would have been Todd Helton in his prime. Yeah,
absolutely. And then with Beltre is one of the ones that you really wanted to see leave out with a ring. He's one of the more well-deserved ones in the history of the game. But no, congratulations to all of the inductees. Very well-deserved. And now for our final topic, and that is our weekly Cub or Dud. Cub or Dud. Cubs should field offers and trade pitcher Justin Steele. Jason, Cub or Dud?
I'll say Dud. Unless you get something respectful for him, I wouldn't even trade Justin Steele. Italian maybe, yeah, but I wouldn't trade Justin Steele.
You could argue Italian staying also because, well, don't forget it was just 2 seasons ago he had a 16-win season.
Right.
Last year was a little up and down, came on hot. Italian did last year at the second half. He's had a good year, bounce back this year.
Yes, he did. He did, absolutely. And the only reason why I answered, I saw something on Bleach Report that said they were linking the Dodgers had interest maybe. But Bakkens, what about you, Cub or Dud?
If the Cubs trade Justin Steele, I will denounce my fanhood until Jed Hoyer is fired. I mean,
yeah,
there's just no way. This kid is John Lester-esque, and you know what I mean. Just a guy that wants to build, be around a winner. Is a winner, has passion for the game. I mean, literally he's telling his own teammates to wake the F up. Like, you know what I mean? This is a guy, that's a guy you want on your team. And whether you're contending, rebuilding, he is a dude that for the next years, like he's a guy you want. And there's not too many like him. You know what I mean? Like he's John Lester-esque. And if Jed Hoyer trades Justin Steele, count me out, boys. I'm out.
Yeah, you need you need someone like Steele in the clubhouse, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you trade him, it better be for somebody's whole ass farm system. It better be like the Herschel Walker type trade. When he went to the Vikings and what the Cowboys got, like it better change our whole trajectory of our organization. And I don't think any team's willing to do that. As good as the kid is, it seems like I don't think he's going to get traded at all, and they won't field offers. I think, you know what I mean. If somebody called Jed and they blew him away with an offer, then like obviously, but I don't. Chances to me, I would say, are about 1% that he gets traded. I think Talion is more likely. It seems more teams want hitters than, well, guess what? We don't have a hitter, so we probably won't be trading a whole lot.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say dud also. Again, and even then, like I said, it's arguable that you keep Talon, and you got a three-headed monster brewing on the starting rotation. And just the offense, he's like a pit. But to me, the bullpen could stand to get a belt to the ass, But the starting rotation, I got no problem with them.
No, rotation's been solid all year.
Yeah. But the offense, any freaking day now, come on back. The second half of the season has started, so. But again, it's just we've just begun the second half of the season. If the Cubs can get on a real good streak and at least get some sort of pickup, there might be something. Maybe the wild card is in the cards. I don't know. I know Botkins really ain't feeling it like that. Jason's probably halfway out.
They're what, 4.5 out, Botkins?
Yeah, they're 4.5 out of the wild card. But you can't look at this team and tell me it's a playoff team.
No, they'll never. Even if they make the wild card, they're not going to do nothing with it.
Yeah. They're not going to make the wild card. They're not going to do you can't look at this team as constructed and tell me it's a playoff team. It's not. I'm for sell. Like, go ahead. Like I have about 5 guys that I wouldn't trade right now. I wouldn't trade Bush. I wouldn't trade PCA. I wouldn't trade Steele, Shota, and Wicks, and Assad. Like those about 5 guys right there. After that, everybody else open for phone calls. I know some people don't want to trade Nico or I would trade you could trade them too. I would try to get rid of Dansby Swanson's contract. See you later if you can, because we're on the hook for him for a shit ton of money. So please, if we can, see you later, Dansby. We'll eat some. And go that way. I like Nico, and I really do. I think he's a good second baseman. But if somebody came with the right contract, the right prospects, or the right pieces, why not?
Yeah. So you keep Belly or get rid of him?
Nah, Belly's the first name off the list.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he has the most value, and we're paying him a lot.
Yeah, that is true. He did get a hefty bit of money to go to Chicago, but that's our show. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Shout out to everybody who tuned in and such.
Hey, real shout out to my guys at Obvious Shirts. Yeah. I picked up the I Love Bush shirt.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Botkins, you got a show later on tonight. Quick promo.
Yeah. Head Kicks and Haymakers. 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern on my channel, The Bodkin Show, right behind me. It's UFC 304 preview. Please check it out. Thanks a lot.
All right. And so everybody at Sideline Sports Network, this has been Cubfidential. Shout out to JB Ellis. He's probably ice fishing on the Bering Strait somewhere. But thanks a lot to Jason and Botkins. We'll see you all next week. Hopefully something real good to talk about next week. I know these 2 guys really ain't banking on it, but someone's got to be the optimistic one here. So we'll see you all later, and we'll see what happens.